viewers. We'll wait for them to join.
Okay.
So we are live.
Yeah, this is exciting.
I know. Drum roll.
Yeah.
Do we have to click somewhere?
So it looks like we have some viewers. Let me see if I can open up the chat. Ah, great. So we have a chat window to our right.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think we're waiting for one more, Marco. He was actually in transit. I spoke to him briefly, but he should be jumping back on here anytime. So I'll go ahead and begin. My name is William. Hello, everyone. Coming to you live from Los Angeles. You can see in the background my window. This is my office. From the USC campus, I work for the Viterbi School of Engineering. Thank you all for joining me today. And I want to congratulate you, first of all, on your admission. Today's Google Hangout is provided to you by the Viterbi School, and with us joining me today are your peers. Okay, so we have current graduate students at the Viterbi School of Engineering or recent graduates from the graduate program here at the Viterbi School. So if you have questions for them, we'll discuss, student life, classes, those types of things about an idea about an experience here in Los Angeles and at the Viterbi School, because we know that many of you are coming from very far distances to consider graduate school, so we want to give you the opportunity to ask questions and get a better understanding of what student life potentially would be for you if you could see yourself here. So enough of my talking. If you do have a question, feel free to enter it in the chat window, but I'll go ahead and get started and introduce my guests, students for today. We have Gina, Joyatsna, and Pranav, and later we'll be joined by Marco. So if I can ask actually Gina, if you want to go ahead and start, maybe let us know a little bit about yourself, your major, hometown, where you're from, and then when and why you decided to come to USC and what you're studying.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Gina. I'm a third-year PhD student in the Civil and Environmental Engineering department. I'm originally from United Arab Emirates, so that's where I grew up. And why did I decide to come to USC? So I was originally up in Northern California for my master's. I decided I liked California, so I applied to more California schools for my PhD. And then, yeah, I came and I visited USC. I liked the campus. I liked the department and the research that the professors were working on. And so that's how I decided to come to USC. I think you're on mute.
It would help if I unmuted. Yes, thank you. What year PhD, what year currently are you?
I'm in my third year, so I'm finishing my third year.
Third year. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Next, we have Joyatsna. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Go ahead and introduce yourself, what you're studying, or what you studied, and then a little bit more about yourself.
Cool. Hi everybody, I'm Jyotsna Karini. People call me Jo. I recently graduated from USC Electrical Engineering program in December, and I moved to San Jose in February to work for this virtual reality startup. I work as a product manager. The reason why I chose USC was only for one thing, that was for creative technologies. And electrical engineering had this program of creative and multimedia technologies. I had gotten a special admit, but then I switched to signal and image processing so that I could do more virtual reality and augmented reality kind of projects. And USC actually led me to all the Hollywood studios and all the media labs. So that's my story. That's why I came here.
All right, great. Thank you, Jyotsna. Next, I would like to go to Pranav. If you, sorry, I think I muted you. If you don't mind, go ahead.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you. You sound great. So feel free to chime in. Let us know what you studied here, where you're from, and why you came to USC.
Okay. Okay. Hi. This is Pranav. I'm from India, from Delhi. I'm a Tamilian. Um, I'm studying masters in biomedical engineering. Uh, going to graduate in May. Um, I chose USC because my brother is an alumni. He was a PhD from electrical engineering. Um, I love the campus, and I love California more than any other state. And yeah, I think USC has a very good platform, and Southern California, as such, is a good place to be in for biomedical engineering, since startups are booming here right now. Um, yeah, and I think like international students should, be confident and ask a lot of questions today, especially if you want to, because I think it'll be a good head start for you if you do that now.
All right, thank you. And then finally, Marco, you just joined in, so thanks for joining, Marco. And maybe just let us know. It's your turn. Let us know about yourself, what you studied, and what you're doing now.
Hey, hi. So my name is Marco Meyer, and I am a third-year master's student at USC. I work full-time, and so I'm a part-time student, which is why it's taking so long. My degree is I'm getting a master's of construction management. So it's an MCM, and it's in the civil engineering department. And what I'm doing with that is, so I come from a small construction family. We do a lot of structural concrete in Southern California. And so I'm actually born and raised in San Diego. So I'm very local, and it's great to have a lot of international students. I learn a lot from them. I hope they learn a lot from me as well. But so the reason why I picked USC is being from Southern California and living in this market and wanting to work and live in San Diego and LA. USC is such a great presence here, from the network, the companies that you're going to be able to work with, the friendships and the peers that are at USC and are going to be working in the industry. It's a great way to network, and they just have great professors. The program itself, MCM, it's very relatable to what I'm doing every day, and so that was the main thing. I was close to home, and USC is a great school, so I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, thank you. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump into the academics, so the background part. I really want to hear about your experiences, but I'll go ahead and jump into the background side of it, of the academics. In terms of classwork, so your first experiences, and I apologize, I think I tried muting those of you who haven't, who when you're not talking, because of the background noise, and it makes the screen jump. So if you don't mind muting yourself when you're not talking, and then unmuting when it's your turn to talk, that'd be great. But in terms of the academics, what are some of your first thoughts, in terms of the classwork, going from an undergrad into a graduate level courses, demanding classwork, in terms of the number of hours, those types of things per week. What was your first impression and first experience? I think I'll ask Marco first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so my first experience, I think the classes from undergrad to grad, they're a lot more difficult in that you need to put more time per class. I'll be honest, my first semester I took like one class because I was part-time, and I thought that was like really easy. It wasn't enough workload, just because in a week you can tackle one class. Then I kind of jumped up to 2. And so working full time and then being part time, 2 classes, you put a lot of work in. So the biggest thing is, you should expect to read a lot of material, spend a lot of time in group projects. At least with my degree or my program, there's a lot of group assignments. So you need to be able to meet with your classmates, either in Google Hangouts if you're not next to each other, or be able to meet on campus. But there's a lot more group work and a lot more time that's required. So.
Pranav, do you have similar experience in terms of demand structure in your program for BME?
I think BME is pretty light compared to probably the other programs, but it also depends on the background you're from. I have an electrical engineering background, so BME Masters is lighter for me, but I know personally that there are a lot of other classmates who are like from biotech or maybe biomedical in India, which is not as rigorous as electrical. So they do see the change in like undergrad to grad as a big thing. And yeah.
Well, I was just curious. So in Jyotsna, coming from the from a double E program, what was your experience?
So I had a background in electronics and communication engineering too. When I came in, I had the special admit for creative tech for electrical engineering, and the first semester I was overloaded with coursework. I was very overwhelmed. In fact, I did not perform well. I ended up getting very low GPA too. And I was pretty depressed. Like, why is USC so difficult? Was my first question. It made me feel so dumb. But at the same time, what I realized is that my approach was kind of wrong. So the first one semester, though according to USC's curriculum, I had taken the right courses, I did not see that is what I wanted, or at least I realized by studying by myself and going and studying with groups, and I also did one project course. I kind of understood how I was able to deal with theory, heavy theory, and like application-based courses, it was more of a personal choice. So I had like come for more hands-on experience kind of stuff. So in the second semester, I kind of like switched everything. I had my own strategy. So the first semester was like a downfall, and in the second semester, I got a 4. That was because I took the courses which I thought I would really enjoy, and kind of the advisors did help in that matter. First semester was it was sad for me. It was way too overwhelming. But also I took out time to like go talk to a lot of professors. I went out of my way and I like took lab tours because USC has such amazing research labs, and that's how I got introduced to virtual reality. Till then, I had no idea that there was something called VR, but that was a turning point for me. And after that, I had taken courses that gave me more projects, and that is what I personally enjoyed. Because when it came to like theory, it is tough, but I think it's like a personal choice. But yeah, after that, pretty much even every course that I took, though there was a lot of course load, just because I enjoyed it, and the teams that I was always tagging along with, they were distributing the work equally. There was good understanding. After that, it was better. Yeah.
And was your experience in your electrical engineering program in terms of exam structure more theoretical or more project based?
So it depends on the course. In first semester, I was forced to take fundamental courses, and I was like, why am I taking? I already did these fundamentals. But the thing was, USC had a completely different approach from what we had learned back in India. And it did make sense. There are certain courses which are heavy on theory, and they really test you. And if you are a person who can like handle the clock ticking and under pressure you can answer questions, that's good. But I'm more of a person who can like solve problems which are undefined and stuff like that. So that was another personal choice. But there are a lot of courses which have a very good mix of application plus theory, and gives you a lot of insight to like more advanced topics. So those are the ones that I chose, and it actually fit into my curriculum. So I ended up taking general electrical engineering with specialization in signal and image processing, which still gives me all my knowledge for immersive media technology. So in that way, like, yeah, again, it requires you to like be more open, talk to your professors, tell what is your problem, talk to your friends, and have a very good group to study. I think that's very important.
Great, thank you. Gina, I haven't spoken to you since you introduced yourself. I know you're there. As a PhD student, have you taken many courses in your program?
Yeah, so usually the first 2 years is more of coursework, and you're doing research, but not as intensively as after the second year. So when I first started, I actually made the mistake of being extra ambitious. And so usually people take 2 courses in my department, and I went and took 4. And so on top of that, I was doing a bit of research. And on top of that, I was getting my screening exam done at the end of the semester. So it was a very, very hectic, overloaded semester. And, you know, I had just moved to LA, and so I was still adjusting to the move and to the new campus, and, you know, still making, you know, trying to figure out things. So yeah, I ended up doing okay, but I had no time for anything. You know, I was on campus 7 days a week, you know, from early in the morning till late at night. So it was a very, very crazy schedule. So I wouldn't recommend that for your first semester, because there needs to be a period of time of, you know, adjustment. But yeah, so that was my experience. So after that, I like only took 2 courses a semester.
It sounds like you were able to balance it out a little bit better after that first semester.
Yeah, then I figured out, okay, what makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. And Pranav, I'll ask you in terms of your BME experience. Are you doing any research? Are your exams theoretical, project-based? What's been your experience?
Yeah, I think my experience was that I felt that the coursework was too theoretical. We did not have much exposure to like labs as such, because I tried contacting a lot of professors, and there were so many PhD students already working in their labs, so they did not have like positions, and they didn't even want people to come on board and volunteer, because it takes like 6 months to get the basics right, and they were like, you're gonna graduate in like 1.5 years, so like they didn't want to spend that time. But as part of any course that you take, I like to tell people that if you go and approach a professor on your own, out of the way, with an idea, or maybe ask him like if he's working on a project, then you can get on board with that professor and, you know, figure out a way to kind of get involved in projects. And yeah, the other thing with BME is that, like, even if you take like any program on campus, it won't be sufficient for you when you get into the industry. So you have to kind of mold the coursework that you take, talk to advisors, kind of try and switch courses, and take courses which might be like a basic like starting point in industry. You can't actually just say that, you know, I want to be in R&D and then do all the technical coursework and not even know like what the basic regulations are over here, because without that, the company takes a lot of time out of you to, you know, kind of get you trained. And if you know basics, then the probability of you getting hired is also more. And that's kind of one reason why I like mixed and matched some courses over the second semester, because first time I was not aware of all this, but over the second semester I did some stuff on my own. I took a course which was like gave me some exposure to regulations and stuff, and that's why I got an internship, and I've been like working since last June at Medtronic. So yeah, I mean, if they do talk to seniors and kind of, you know, they're confident enough to move out of what the plan actually suggests or what the advice actually tell you, and they kind of mold their program to what, you know, suits their interest, then they can get a lot out of it. But it's just the confidence thing that I've seen in like a lot of juniors, which is, you know, lacking. They just want to like, okay, like my friends are doing it, like let me do that. That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Find what works for you. I do have a question, and I don't know if any of you will be able to answer. Jyotsna, I'll ask you though, since you're double E. Someone's asking about the computer engineering. Did you have any experience in computer engineering courses in your program?
So whatever answer I give right now is gonna like resonate with whatever Pranav just mentioned. I completely went out of my way. I took courses. So everything I know about virtual reality is what I learned by myself. It was all the projects that I personally went to professors and went to research labs and requested, proved myself and got in. All the courses that I did was only to get my master's in electrical engineering. So I used USC's resources, but I also studied in USC to get the degree. That might sound very wrong, but I am here today because of USC. All in all, when it comes to like taking particularly computer engineering courses, no, I haven't. Instead, I took computer science courses, and I realized so in 2015, I joined in 2015. So in the first 3 months, I got introduced to VR. After that, I had no idea how to like go about it. But in 2016, the whole year, I just worked. I worked in Disney, then I worked in Mixed Reality Studios, then I worked in Warner Brothers. And that was all while doing the electrical engineering courses. The only thing that actually gave me the entry point to all these internships was computer science games course. And that was a 1-year project that kind of helped me. So I did not take any computer engineering courses, but computer science courses. Rest all I learned by myself. But I think in electrical engineering itself, there are certain courses where the professors kind of give you little insights to other topics. And if you can like tap into those and then you can like go and ask them, they'll give you more information. You can just take that information and do like a small little projects. You get the basics, that's enough to like propel. So that's what I did. So I pretty much like, I don't know, I think from my second semester, once I had like a downfall, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever is gonna interest me. And then that's how I just went another way.
Cool. Thanks
I think, yeah, if you have a like computer engineering related question, I think I can answer that, because like a lot of my friends are computer engineering, and so there is this like amazing famous professor at USC. His name is Gandhi Puwada, and anyone and everyone who is going to come to computer engineering, if you do courses under him, then not only do you get a degree worth the, you know, I and how else to put it, but worth the money, and also he's that amazing that he kind of keeps updating himself with the current industry, and whatever he tells you is like, you know, that's he's known to be a completely like industry oriented professor. So he kind of gives you the basics, and as far as I've heard, if you do EE 457 well, then you have a chance to get into EE 560, which is like the next level course that he takes. And anyone and everyone who has done EE 560 ends up getting a job. So
and what was the name of that professor? One more time.
Gandhi Puwada.
Gandhi Puerta. Thank you. Someone asked about pursuing a courses-only master's degree, and I'll just answer that one real quick. The master's degree programs here in the Viterbi School are completely coursework based. Thesis is optional, so if a student wants to do a thesis, they can. I've been told about 20% of the students end up doing some type of thesis, but all a student will need to do in order to earn their master's is complete the coursework with a 3.0 GPA or better. Now, moving on, because we talked a little bit about the academics, so thank you all for answering those questions. I'd like to actually move on now to, in terms of campus life, housing, how you have navigated that transition from undergrad or a master's into your life, housing and campus life experience here. And I'd actually like to, I'll start with Gina, if you can just touch on that, how you were able to, in your busy first semester and prior to that, find housing, you know, if you needed a car, and how you were able to find roommates, that type of topic.
Okay, so yeah, so I moved from Northern California, where I was doing my master's, then came down to Southern California. So I already had a car, so commuting was easy. I applied for housing through USC, for USC graduate housing, but didn't get it. So then I had to scramble, I think, a month before joining USC to try to figure out housing. So that was a little tough because I wasn't sure what the best resource was to figure out off-campus housing. I ended up going with Lorenzo, which is sort of affiliated with USC. So I trusted that to be a safe option. So I ended up doing that. And they provide shuttle service back and forth from the housing to campus. So that's what I did the first year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a number of students, and Marco, are you Lorenzo also?
I am. I do. I live with Lorenzo.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe Pranav, what was your experience like trying to find housing? Any websites that you went to outside of the USC housing?
I found housing, like I scrambled for housing because like my visa interview was too late, so I got housing like 20 days before I came to USC, and it was like a last option. But I found it on Facebook, nevertheless. So anyone who's searching for housing, I'd suggest that try to find seniors from your undergrad colleges, probably who are here, so they can actually go and look at the place once, because that helps. And I feel like if you want like cheaper, affordable housing, then probably north of campus is like a safe place to go to. So yeah, I think Facebook is like the best option you have on hand, and then asking some seniors of yours to you to go and check out the place is like a good option.
Yeah, you mentioned Facebook. It's a good point. I've actually noticed a number of unofficial Viterbi school groups on Facebook that I know students are.
I think for Viterbi specific, USC Viterbi School of Engineering group is pretty active in terms of people posting, and USC graduate students looking for housing. Yeah, I think that's
right. And Jyotsna, I don't want to leave you out.
Well, I think, oh my God, Facebook housing is the best. Like, even the house that I got here in San Jose is through Facebook. And it's the same set of seniors who left USC. There's another group for the Bay Area, and it's the Facebook group. And trust me, the option that you get in Facebook, it's faster to communicate. You get better pictures if you request for videos, you get it. Yeah, if there is someone out there to check out the house for you, that's awesome. When I first came to, when I had to join, I saw this trend on Facebook housing group that north of campus is like super safe, west of campus is like super scary, and I just didn't get it. It was like, what is this? And I was like, why there's campus security, there's cruisers, why is everyone talking like this? And then anyway, in first year, I stayed on west of campus, and I did not find it unsafe. In fact, I chose west of campus because I found a house that was just half a mile from Viterbi's campus. So I was like, wow, this is sorted. I just have to walk. I don't have to like worry about transportation. The Metrolink was like right there. And I made a point that I wouldn't take a house with my fellow Indians. I wanted to like diversify, and I ended up taking a house with a Mexican and with another Persian, and it was amazing. And it, that immediately like you feel as if your brain has expanded and stuff. Then I moved to north of campus later once my D's got over, and actually I found north of campus more shady. Not really shady, but like more stuff happening. I had to be more careful on the north side, and every time I would see something or the other going on. But if you really talk about safety, I think the general rules apply. You walk in groups, and you make sure that you go in the lines where there is campus, I mean like the yellow jackets and stuff. But nothing, I mean, and also I had a bike, so I would like go everywhere on my bike. That used to be fine. But yeah, anything closer to the campus was good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you all for answering that. And Gina, I know that you mentioned briefly about the on-campus housing. There is limited on-campus housing, and you have to kind of apply for it through USC Housing Office. And that URL is simply housing.usc.edu. Majority of graduate students, it's very difficult for them to receive that on-campus housing. But that website does have a number of listings for off-campus housing, non-USC affiliated housing. There is a link on that website for that, in addition to some of the Facebook information that was provided as well. So I'm taking a look at some of the questions here. How is the chance of pursuing PhD degree after finishing my master's? I think that really depends in terms of going from a master's to a PhD. At least here at the Viterbi School, you need to make sure you have enough of a research background. So plenty of research experience, working with a professor, that sort of thing. USC Village, someone asked about that. That, my understanding, will open at the end of the summer of August 2017, so it should be opening later this year. Construction's almost finished. It looks great from what I've seen in the overhead shots. They've flown a drone over. I know they're going to put, I think, a Trader Joe's in there, in addition to other retail shops, in addition to future housing for students as well. Do most people live close to campus, campus housing, off campus? I'll let my panelists answer that. From your experiences yourself, your friends, do most students live close to campus, or do a lot of students commute in? How would you guys answer that? Gina, maybe you can answer that. You've been here for the longest.
Yeah, so from the pool of people that I know, I feel like most of them live a bit further away from campus. I think most of them, what they do is in the first year, they live close to campus. And then once they get to know the area, they move away from campus and live a bit further. That's at least from the people that I know. Yeah. Okay.
And there are actually, one of the big things in Los Angeles, I mean, Uber and Lyft, those type of ride services are very plentiful. The university has a partnership with Uber, I believe, around a certain radius of campus for students to access at night. In addition, there are light rail stops just off of campus that go all the way down to Santa Monica, into downtown, those types of things. I do have a question about being a graduate resident assistant for a dorm. I actually don't believe you can, but I would have to double check on that. I don't know if any of you have any friends or know anyone that is an RA for a dorm as a grad student. I believe that's reserved for undergrad, but I don't entirely know the answer to that. So let's talk a little bit now about, let's see. I have a list of other topics. I'd like to talk a little bit about resources. Some of you mentioned the resources, the student orgs, your experience and opportunity to get involved during your time here. You know, what has been your experience? How do you go about finding a club? Those types of things. I'll ask Pranav. I'll start with you, maybe, if you don't mind. How do you go about, you know, getting involved?
I think the most important thing is to attend all orientations. As soon as you come on campus, like for the first 10 days, you'll have a lot of organizations hosting a lot of orientations, and wherever you're invited, you should go. Even if your friends are invited, I think +1 doesn't matter. You should go to all the orientations, because that's the place where you get to know all your seniors. You kind of find people who you can resonate with and start talking, so that you get that confidence in a foreign land, maybe. Involvement fair is the best place to get associated with clubs and organizations, whether it be sports, whether it be cultural, whether it be religious, whether it be academic. There's 2 days of involvement fair. That is generally third and fourth day after the college starts, and that's the most important time to kind of mingle with people. And yeah, if you want to be associated with any organization, the procedure is pretty simple out here. Most of them will have like a sign-up sheet, and there are a lot of organizations which have like paid memberships. A lot of organizations have free memberships. I myself am the president of the Hindu Student Organization. I'm part of the table tennis club, the Trojan Cricket Club. So, like, yeah, I mean that's one place where you get to interact people of the academic circle. So you kind of make more closer friends. It's not just professional. So it's a good place to like get to know other people's culture too. And USC is very diverse, so trust me, you should go to like, you know, all events possible, all orientations possible, and talk to people, because people are very, very open here.
Awesome, thank you. Gina, did you have anything to add? Maybe you can tell a little bit about, I know that you're part of a student liaison. Can you explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so I'm the Viterbi graduate student liaison for this year. What that is basically I work with the GAP office that takes care of the graduate students in the Viterbi School. And I also work with VGSA, which is the Viterbi Graduate Student Association. And the VGSA automatically, once you join USC as a graduate student in the engineering school, you get automatically you automatically become a VGSA member. So you automatically will start receiving emails from them. And so basically they're an association that have different events for engineering students. And so I work with them and the administration. And I also work individually with any student in the Viterbi school. And so if any student has a concern or something comes up or just a question, they can always email me or set up a meeting, and I'll help them out with that. And if anything needs to go through administration, for example, if it's some sort of policy or some sort of bigger issue, then I'm the link to administration, basically.
Marco, are you part of any club? Are you part of table tennis? Do you do any extracurricular activities through clubs here?
I am. So I I want to echo the involvement fair. I mean, it's held, I think, like the first week of each semester, and it's 2 days. So I definitely recommend go there, talk to every table that interests you, even tables that don't interest you at first. You might meet a couple members and then find out that could be really fun, and maybe I want to go to a meeting or two. In terms of clubs I'm involved in, some of the fun ones, someone mentioned, it's great to be involved with just students that maybe aren't in your major. I'm a part of the scuba diving club. So we go scuba diving with like Catalina, or we do like Channel Islands. Really fun way. Most of those students are, I forget their major. I think they do something with science, but a great group of people. I'm also part of the polo club. So we get to ride horses and play polo, which is fun. In terms of actual professional type clubs, I'm a part of CMAA, which is Construction Managers Association of America. And so the big thing that CMAA does is, one, they host a symposium. And so if you're in the construction industry or you're interested in the construction industry, it's a dinner that they hold every year, and a lot of contractors come out. You get to sit down at a table. I sat at a table with DPR, and I just got to really network and speak with them the entire evening, which was a great opportunity. The other big thing that they do is CMAA sends many teams to a competition up in Reno. It's called the ASC competition. We call it Sparks, but it's just it was like a 3-day event where you compete all day and you present. And so my team, I actually was a captain of the graduate team, and we did the integrated project delivery, and we ended up placing second. So it was a great opportunity. Again, great networking. Everybody on my team basically got job offers. It was a great way to be involved. So. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I love hearing that you guys are all involved, by the way. That's great. And I know that Judson, you mentioned already the VR. Personally, I love the VR, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Let me go over. I'm getting a lot of questions about the funding, the merit scholarship. So I'll take a little bit of time to discuss that, and I will ask if any of you don't mind answering in a minute in terms of like how you're able to fund your master's degree. But in terms of our scholarship that we offer, it's the Dean's Master's Scholarship. For those students who applied by the December 15th master's deadline, you will be considered for this Dean's Master's Scholarship. It's not a full scholarship. How it works, there, I believe, are 3 rounds that go to a scholarship committee. All of the scholarships will be given out by April 30th. So just know that they just are starting that process of notifying the first round of recipients. But by April the 30th is the last date that they will notify students. So if you haven't heard, obviously by April 30th, unfortunately, you wouldn't be selected. So that's kind of how it works. I don't have in terms of the number of people receiving the scholarship, unfortunately, but I know that the scholarship ranges anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. So just know that the notifications are starting to go out, or in the process of starting to go out. And they will continue to go out over the next month. Okay. For the rest of you, in terms of funding, if any of you don't mind, and I won't call on any of you, but if some of you want to jump in terms of your own funding and way to fund your master's degree program, some of us would love to hear that.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in and
Please.
just take a minute and tell everyone that there was a scholarship that is also open to international students. I didn't know about that. My friend received it after 1 year. It's the Norman Topping Aid Scholarship. They generally give it to, I think, 1 student from each department. And the deadline for that is like May. So in case you guys have applied and got admits, I think you should contact your advisor and ask about that scholarship. because they are the ones who will recommend like a couple of names from your department to the committee, and then there'll be, I think, a round of interview, and I think it's a maximum of up to like half the number of your credits that you have over the year. So you could get like, maybe like 10 credits sponsored by the school, and it's something which like every student pays for. So every student on campus actually pays like $8 towards it every semester. So that's one thing that's also open to international students. So I would encourage them to like contact their advisors and ask them about it. And as far as funding is concerned, it's like, at least back in India, most of the people, they're sponsored by loans, which their parents take from banks, literally. And if you have someone in the US, taking a loan with their help is better, because in US the interest rates are pretty low for student loans. So that could be a good idea. And the other thing, if you get internships, then it's possible to use the payment plan, which is like you pay each month of the semester in parts, so you don't have to pay the whole tuition up front. That's what I did after 1 year. I paid using the student plan. It's just like $50 to enroll, and nothing extra. So you just pay over each month, and then that way you can reduce the loan amount that you're taking.
I'd like to add a little about my story. Um, I okay, so because my background, I'm more interested in the media technology and stuff. The way I got my scholarship was through organization. So I was part of the VRSC student organization. I also served as the president, but a part of being the club itself led me to become a member of IEEE, SIGGRAPH, and then SIMT. And for those of you who don't know what SIMT is, it is Society of Motion Pictures and Television Engineers. It is pretty much like the board that decides the technical awards for Oscars, or like the standards and big stuff, right? So through VRSC, I started going to a lot of conferences, and I first went as a representative, right? I was just going as a volunteer, but slowly I got the opportunity to demonstrate my projects, which I was doing at USC. In fact, the project that I landed at USC was also through by interacting with people. And I was given the opportunity to apply for the SIMT Student Scholarship, and I did end up getting it. And that was a huge recognition, because I realized I was the only Indian who got it, and also I was the only one from USC and then they were like, it's an international recognition, so it was great to have that, and that led me to another recognition, which is by the Hollywood Professional Alliance, and they gave me the title of Young Entertainment Professional. So that was like a follow-up, which I did not anticipate. And the way their process was is that you write an essay, but then you also submit all your projects, and then you give recommendations, and then they do your screening, and then they choose whether you're fit for the scholarship or not. Those were the two things that I got. And of course, my internships tremendously helped. It took me a year to land an internship. Now, of course, if you're an international student for the first 9 months, you can't really like work. So in 2016, I continuously, like, I had like 3 internships in spring, fall, and then also in summer. So at least it helped me to bear my other expenses. I did not really have to ask my parents for extra money. In fact, since 2016, I never got to ask. So that was great, and at least like I had savings, and then scholarship money came in. So do check out for, if you are like really passionate about your field, go towards these organizations, because they not just give you a lot of opportunities, they give you mentors, and that is what you need. You need to find mentors, and you will have a lot of other opportunities to like file papers or like stuff like that, and that all gives you more exposure. And the way you do it is by applying for volunteering opportunities, and most of these organizations have their applications up months in advance. So maybe if you guys want to like check out SIGGRAPH, their applications, and even for IEEE, the applications will be open now to start volunteering, and so will the scholarship applications be open now. And it's just like you just have to give it a try, and if you have it, then you will end up like succeeding.
I think that's great advice. Also, I mean, we have our Viterbi School limited scholarships of merit scholarships, but there are literally hundreds of other scholarships out there. So I want to definitely encourage students, don't just rely on us. Definitely, I'm sure there's apps for that. Search the internet, and my panelists brought up a few alternatives as well, which I think were great. Thank you for bringing those up. This hour has gone by really quick, so I want to start wrapping it up. And in closing, just ask each of you if there's anything that you wish you had known prior to starting your graduate program, prior to coming to Los Angeles, that you are able to give advice to your fellow peers. What advice would you give? What would you like to share that you wish you'd known prior to coming here, that may be helpful for someone who's looking to come to school here? Maybe I'll start with Gina, if you don't mind answering that.
Sure.
We'll go down the list.
Okay. So yeah, one thing I think I would just bring up again was the involvement fair. So I had no idea about that. And I think it's very important not just to focus on your academics and your courses, but to also get the experience of, making connections, meeting people outside of the people you would usually meet from wherever, country you're from. And just being more involved in getting the whole experience of studying abroad and being an international student, and not just coursework and research. So my advice would be to get involved, because you don't just get internships or jobs through your courses and research work. It's all about making those connections as well, and just being involved. So that's the advice I would give.
All right, Jyotsna, any recommendations or advice that you can share?
Yeah. Well, if you are in engineering, please get your coding fundamentals right as soon as possible, because you'll be like wasting a lot of time trying to like learn the basics all over again. I know projects are a good way to like start learning coding and stuff, but it's better to get all those things sorted first, because it really saves a lot of time. Apart from that, the biggest advice I would give is that don't let anyone pigeonhole you. And if you, be in groups, work together, but please don't follow the crowd. You have to be brave enough to listen to your inner voice, understand how you work compared to others, and find your own way. That is the only way to succeed. And yes, you have to start talking. You cannot be narrow-minded. Start talking more, finding out more. Ask people who have been in the positions that you aspire to be, how they have done it. Try to seek mentors. To be honest, even the job that I landed, all my internships that I landed, it has only been through talking, learning by myself, and networking. So you have to like be brave to know what you want. So don't be scared.
Great, thank you. Pranav?
Yeah, I think finding mentors is a good way to start. So Viterbi has a mentorship program. There are other student organizations for, like, I think most of the countries, they have association that give you some mentors. So yeah, talk to them, get a good perspective of what's going to come. And it's not just that you stop at okay, they told me all this and this is what I'm going to do, and then you come here, and then when you start doing, you have all these other things to do, living away from home, that kind of take up all your time. And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll just get through the courses. And then after 1 year, you're like, okay, I don't have an internship. But like, you can't be complaining when you did nothing about it. So you try, you get or don't get, it doesn't matter. But it depends on how much effort you put in, and how much confidence you have in yourself. It's like Josna said, I think, for, like in her field, I don't know any other Indian who has succeeded so much here. So I mean, if people have to get what they want and they put in a lot of effort, they can do it. So I mean, having good role models is important, but not just blindly follow. If you want to do something, just get down and do it. Yeah.
Cool. Finally, Marco.
Hi, sorry, it's getting really dark in my place. So the advice I want to echo, I think it's really important, the fact that a lot of us have said it, but be involved. That's the biggest thing that I can say. Join a club, meet people. If there's a competition you can be involved in, go compete. It's so much fun to be able to, one, represent your school, but two, work with your peers. Reach out to your professors. Most of the professors, every professor that I've had has been really approachable, really friendly, really smart, really into research. So just go speak with them, maybe try to do research with them, or just try to create some kind of a friendship. Really just, again, be involved. And one of the things that I want to focus on my last year here, and something I haven't really done, is being from San Diego, I haven't really experienced Los Angeles that much. And being a student at USC, I'm kind of really focused at USC. I do some club things as well, but if you're going to be somewhere new that you've never been, go experience it. Los Angeles is so diverse. There's tons of museums, there's great food, there's the beautiful beaches, there's so many things that you can do. Get some friends, go experience it. I know that's what I'm going to try to do this last year. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, we are out of time. I apologize for those questions that we didn't get to, but I want to thank everyone and congratulate everyone again for coming and for joining and for getting admitted. Just a couple housekeeping items. May 15th is the commitment deadline for the Viterbi School of Engineering. So, create a spreadsheet if you're admitted to us and other schools. Just know the deadlines because you don't want to miss it. So May 15th, there's a $500 deposit that goes towards your tuition. And finally, I want to thank each of my panelists. Couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today and to try to help out, your fellow future Trojans. So it's definitely what part of the Trojan family is being all about. So with that conclusion, I would like to say thanks again, fight on, and we hope to see those of you who are on joining us in the fall. So bye-bye.